Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki, Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Ki, Krishna Balaram Ki, Raj Maharaj Ki, Shiva Govinda Madhava Ki, Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Holy Name Week Ki, Gaura Premanandi, all glorious is all glorious is all glorious is all glorious to Shri Guru and Shri Guru, all Vishnu Namaste Saraswati Devi Never say Shasandavadi. No verses. 22. 22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Sign upside down, I think. Breakfast. Is it always like this?
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a sign to all the devotees out there. It's upside down. Breakfast is served at 8:45 a.m. Text 22, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 22, Divinity and Divine Service. Ato vai kavayo nityam, Ato vai kavayo nityam, Bhaktin Padamaya Muda, Bhaktin Padamaya Muda, Vasudeve Bhagavati, Vasudeve Bhagavati, Kurvantyatma Pasadanam, Kurvantyatma Pasadanam, Ato vai kavayo nityam, Ato vai kavayo nityam, Bhaktin Padamaya Mudha, Bhaktin Padamaya Mudha, Vasudeve Bhagavati, Vasudeve Bhagavati, Kurvantyatma Pasadanim, Kurvantyatma Pasadanim, Ato vai kavayo nityam, Ato vai kavayo nityam, Bhaktin Padamaya Mudha, Bhaktin Padamaya Mudha, Vasudeve Bhagavati, Vasudeve Bhagavati, Kurvantyatma Pasadanim, Kurvantyatma Pasadanim, Ato vai kavayo nityam, Ato vai kavayo nityam, Bhaktin Padamaya Mudha, Bhaktin Padamaya Mudha, Vasudeve Bhagavati, Vasudeve Bhagavati, Kurvantyatma Pasadanim, Kurvantyatma Pasadanim, Ato vai kavayo nityam, Ato vai kavayo nityam, Bhaktin Padamaya
Paramayamudha
Bhaktim Paramayamudha
Vasudeve Bhagavati
Kurvantyatma Prasadanim
Ato vai kaviyo nityam Bhaktim Paramayamudha Vasudeva Bhagavati Kurvantya Atma Prasadanim Ato vai kaviyo nityam Bhaktim Paramayamudha Vasudeve Bhagavati Kurvantyatma Prasadanim Ladies.
Ato vai kavayo nityam Bhaktim Paramayamudha Vasudeve Bhagavati Kurvantyatma Prasadanim Ato vai kavayo nityam Bhaktim Paramayamudha Vasudeve Bhagavati Kurvantyatma Prasadanim Ataha, therefore, Vai, certainly, Kavayaha, all transcendentalists, Nityam, from time immemorial, Bhaktim, service unto the Lord, Paramaya, supreme, Muda, with great delight, Vasudevi, Sri Krishna, Bhagavati, personality of Godhead, Kurvanti, to render, Atma, self, Prasadanim, that which enlightens. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We have need of any types of translations here into any language? Czech? I don't know, maybe we need a Czech translation. Or a Kiwi translation. You can understand English. Any other languages? Not many French to go so here. Anibhushan Prabhu's here. Good morning, Prabhu. Good. Mataji, you need a translation? Too busy with the child, I think. No worries. Maybe I don't know. So we'll read the translation. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. So who's speaking? Want some tissues? Who's speaking? I don't mean me. Sutta Goswami. He's answering the questions of the sages of Naimisharanya, who are very eager to find a solution to the problems of this age of Kali. So Sutta Goswami is giving the solutions. here's one of them. What does he say? What does Sutta Goswami say here? He gives, of course this whole chapter basically has already been focused on this point, but what does he say here? Anyone remember what was just said? Can you remember anything? Maybe you've got it on your mobile.
All transcendentalists are rendering devotional service to
Yeah,
the
very
person
good.
of the planet with great delight.
Yeah, since time immemorial, eternally. It's not a new thing. This movement is not a new movement. Time immemorial. Devotional service is the eternal activity of the soul. They've been rendering devotional service to the Lord. And not just, because it's our constitution. It's also with great delight. Why? Because such devotional service is... You've got it on your mobile. Keep it a little quiet. Those who haven't got it on their mobile, easy to read from the mobile. Anyone know? Why is it with great delight?
Because it's Atma Prasadani, satisfying the soul.
Yes, it's enlivening to the self. Prabhupada writes, the speciality of devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is specifically mentioned herein. Lord Sri Krishna is the Svayam Rupa, personality of Godhead, and all other forms of Godhead, beginning from Sri Baladev, Sankarshan, Vasudev, Aniruddha, Padumna, and Narayan, are extending to the Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Yuga avatars, many other thousands of manifestations of the personality of Godhead, are Lord Sri Krishna's plenary portions and integrated parts. The living entities are separated parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is the original form of Godhead. And he is the last word in the transcendence. Thus he is more attractive to the higher transcendentalists who participate in the eternal pastimes of the Lord in forms of the personality of Godhead other than Sri Krishna and Baladev. There is no facility for intimate personal contact as in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord of Brajabhumi. Interesting, isn't it? In forms of the personality of Godhead other than Krishna and Baladev, there is no facility for intimate personal contact as in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord at Brajabhumi. You may have, it says intimate, you may have a reverential relationship with that form of God. Service or neutrality, but not intimate. It's referring to Krishna's parts and parcels, the spirit souls. We can have an intimate relationship with Krishna, even with Baladev, not with other forms of Godhead. The relationship is not intimate, it's distant, reverence, service, and so on. Like with Lord Nrsimhadev or Rahadev, Kurmadev, and many other forms, Lord Narayan also. The transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna are not newly accepted as argued by some less intelligent persons. His pastimes are eternal and are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahmaji, as the sun rises on the eastern horizon at the end of every 24 hours. So what points do you get from the purport? What statements of Srila Prabhupada stand out? Anything? Nothing.
It's not. So, only Krishna and Balaram do you have an intimate personal relationship. The other forms, it's as you clearly mentioned, or in reverence or service.
Very good. That's the point we mostly mentioned, isn't it? Any other points? Any other points in the purport?
Krishna is the original.
Yeah, that's another major point, that he's the original Samambonam, he's the Svayamrupa, he's the original form, and all other forms emanate from him, including the individual jivas. Everything's coming from Krishna. Yeah, he's the origin of everything. Any other points?
He's accepted from the beginning of time.
Yes, it's what devotional service and Krishna. Not much meaning to Krishna without devotional service, you could say. It's been going on since time immemorial. It's not a new thing. It's eternal. Anything else? One more thing, I think. Well, there's some details, like his pastimes are manifest in the form of Krishna once in the day of Brahma, but that's like just a detail, it's not a philosophically statement. There's one more detail, spiritual, philosophical point. I guess you could say that Krishna is more attractive to the higher transcendentalists. There's a verse, and we've got Janananda, probably you can know where it is, I'm sure. Where's the Atmarama verse? Located. What's the number? Atmarama's Chiranayo. Can someone bring me a Bhagavad Gita, please? This verse reminds me of something. Atmarama's Chiranayo.
1:7:10.
Well, it's probably here, this is the full first canto, so I'll read it from here, 1:7:10.
Yes.
This verse, Atmarama, is not going to be called, generally known as the Atmarama verse. Very famous verse, which we see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent a lot of time explaining. This particular verse from the Bhagavatam, and it goes like this. Translation 1:7:10. All different varieties of Atmaramas, that means those who take pleasure in spirit, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though free from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls. Because He's the most attractive, all attractive personality. Everyone is attracted to something. The nature of the soul to be attracted. And it's a matter of to what we're attracted. But here it said that those who are Atmaramas, those who take pleasure in the Atma or spirit self, and especially those established on the path of self-realization. Only ultimately we can only find, as was explained earlier in the second chapter, which you're reading from this Bhagavatam, how one can gain happiness or satisfaction of the self. And how is that achieved? Earlier in this chapter, it was mentioned by Sutta Goswami. What satisfies the self completely? Pardon? Yes. Only this unalloyed, unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service can completely satisfy the self. Because it's the nature of the self. But I'm going to refer to a verse in Bhagavad Gita which comes to mind, and particularly in terms of with great delight, how the devotees relish the process of devotional service, particularly in this case, hearing about the personality of Godhead, which is ideally done in the association of devotees. There's a famous verse spoken by Lord Kapila Dev. Who knows that verse? In the association of devotees. Satam prasangam Mavir Sangvido Bhavanti Vidkarna. It's nice to remember. What does Lord Kapila Dev say to his mother, Devahuti? What does she say? Something unusual. I mean, most sons will not say this to their mother. I knew the mother won't hear it from their son anyway. This is the unique transcendental interaction going on between Devahuti and Kapila Dev. So what did he say to her?
The association of devotees, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord becomes very attractive, and then one goes from Shraddha to Bhava and Prema or Bhakti.
Very relishable. The topics of Krishna Katha are very relishable in the association of devotees and bring great pleasure to the heart, the ears and heart, and searching for that pleasure. And that by nature, Anandamaya Bisattvaro, searching for pleasure. Their whole life is basically an endeavor for pleasure, without satisfaction, because we're not connected. Our activity took from Vyakija Shrista Varnashram Vibhagasha, maybe that was the previous verse, or one of the previous verses, not the previous. Dharmasya Samsiddhya Haritosha. We can only be satisfied when we're engaged in the snow, trying to bring pleasure to Krishna. As long as we're trying to bring pleasure to ourselves, we'll never be happy. Interesting. As we're pleasure seeking, but it's a matter of understanding where pleasure lies. Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure. Unless we're connected to Krishna, we will not be fully satisfied. Sutta Goswami says our activities are basically a waste of time if they're not engaged, or we're not engaged in the service of Krishna. I think I can find this verse. 10th chapter, the verse I'm thinking of. Opens. What's the 10th chapter called?
Suman Bonam.
10th chapter is called.
Oh, sorry.
Knowledge of the Absolute.
Pardon? What?
Knowledge of the Absolute.
10th chapter is called? We're beating around the bush, I don't know if that's the word. Oh, here's a bit of a jumble. It is also said that Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of the Supreme Lord. That's not right, is it? Just looking on the page of this verse. I thought it was Lord Brahma. What's the 10th chapter called? Have you studied the Bhagavad, what's it called? Bhakti Shastri. You know Bhakti Shastri? Who knows the title of the 10th chapter? I guess it's not absolutely important to know. It's nice to know.
The knowledge of the Absolute.
That was already said, the knowledge of the Absolute. That's the 7th chapter.
The opulence of the Absolute.
The opulence of the Absolute. The opulence. The opulence is where the Lord speaks. Arjuna wants to hear about the Lord's, potencies, his opulences. But in the very beginning of, well, not right in the beginning, but near the beginning of this chapter, number 10 of the Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say? There are 4 famous verses. Remember those? They begin with Aham.
Am sarvasya prabhavu mata sarvam pravartate Matimadva bhajandimam Buddha bhadva samavita.
Yeah, and it goes on. And the 3rd and 2nd of those, probably the 2nd. The second one.
Machita madgata prana Udhayamta parasparam Katayamta shtaman nityam Tuchantita namanchicha.
Yeah, I like that line. Tushanti chara maticha. What does it mean? Somebody else besides you two. You two seem to have got it more or less. Anybody else? Tushanti chara manticha.
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction and
Pleasure.
pleasure, satisfaction. Satisfaction, yeah. They get this. Satisfaction and pleasure. The word Prabhupada, some of us use here is bliss, even more than you could say the usual usage of the word pleasure, but bliss, the highest form of pleasure. Satisfaction. In other words, one doesn't search anywhere else. All one's desires are fulfilled. You don't have to go in. What is it that fulfills all one's desires? What is it that gives one that highest taste that we're always aspiring after, that pleasure which we're all searching for? What is it? This verse. Pardon?
The holy name of the Lord.
That's a good point, because I'm going to probably come round to that in a few seconds. Oh, look, we've got a television screen. Let's quickly read them. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. I was listening this morning how Srila Prabhupada was so much emphasizing the importance of hearing about Krishna. And we don't perhaps do so much as we could do. But not just hearing, but hearing about Krishna. So important to hear, to become attracted to Krishna. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, and Prabhupada is saying it. Unless our thoughts are in relationship with Krishna, we will not be able to chant. At least not very effectively. If our thoughts are on something else, they go together. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, and their lives are fully devoted to my service. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss from what?
Conversing about me.
Always enlightening one another and conversing about me. The same line as today's Bhagavatam verse, you could say. But the purport is very practical, very practical. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Same point. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, which is, I guess, the stage we're on, or trying to be, the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. That's usually the first stage of, it may not be 100% pure, but this is how the transformation takes place when we develop an attraction for the service. Helps us to lose our attraction for mundane objects and so on, activities. We become attracted to the service itself, and usually we can experience that, whether it's kirtan, cooking, deity worship, management, cleaning. Everyone's got a different nature, and in the mature stage they're actually situated in love of God. It's not that we're not relishing, one is not relishing the service also, but I was actually in love of God, so pure love of God doesn't depend upon any consideration of, say, the result or how we feel and so on. In the beginning, that pleasure must be there, that relationship. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection, which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. So earlier in the Bhagavad Gita, it does mention that without getting a taste in one's service, it's very difficult to carry on. One has to get a taste. Usually a little bit more than just from prasadam. That can sustain us for some time. But it usually has to be a little bit more than just that. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities travelling throughout the different planets and universes. Out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. It's very rare. This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That seed fructifies, just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahmajyoti of effulgence in the spiritual sky. There you go, that's where you end up. Any questions? You end up in the Brahmajyoti, is that okay? No? That's what it says here. The spiritual creeper penetrates the material coverings and enters into the Brahmajyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. And all over. But then Prabhupada says, in the spiritual sky also that plant grows more and more, as if we're cultivating it in devotion, until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live, even for a moment, without being in contact with the Supreme Lord. Just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees, as stated in the Bhagavatam itself. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. One of the concluding verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a beautiful verse, and Janananda Prabhu is going to locate the full verse for us. 12, 13, 18. In this narration, there is nothing about material activity, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Bear that in mind. That's what you're looking for. Bhagavatam will also fulfill those pursuits, but it won't necessarily directly go in that area. It will satisfy the inner hankering of the living entity with satisfaction, which will automatically remove the desire for economic development, sense gratification or pleasure from economic development. One may still develop economically, but for the pleasure of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. Thus, the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. Did you find the verse?
Yes.
Okay, what's it say?
The Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Puran. It is most dear to the Vaishnava because it describes the pure and supreme knowledge of the Paramahamsas. This Bhagavat reveals the means for becoming free from all material work, together with the processes of transcendental knowledge, renunciation, and devotion. Anyone who seriously tries to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, who properly hears and chants it with devotion, becomes completely liberated.
Completely liberated. I mean, situated under the lotus feet of the Lord, not the Brahmajyoti. Well, we have a little time. I wanted to show something. Is it possible to do that? My computer. Why? Because this week is World Holy Name Week, and it's not very much advertised these days. It used to be more advertised.
Turn it around.
Take it off.
Take it off.
The easiest way to do that. No.
The adapter. Oh, is it?
Does it fit? Yeah. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Let me just World Holy Name Week, Kirtan. Boom. Tell me if anything's come on the board. There's a whole bunch of things. Entire screen, window on app, extended display. Which one should I press?
Mirror.
Start mirroring?
Mirror, yeah.
Start mirroring.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Can you see anything on the screen?
Yes,
Yes, Lord.
This amazing
it's working.
photograph of Srila Prabhupada. This was taken by Vishaka Devi. Beautiful. Photograph. She's expert at capturing the moment, isn't she? In photography. Like Prabhupada offering Aarti in Vrindavan. And it usually has a nice, I think she may have told the story. And I'm not gonna, this is, well, I don't know where this is, I don't know what I was looking at when I did this, but I found it this morning by chance. And it's not really, I could have played many others, but this is the one I just picked out. It's short and sweet. So there's Prabhupada in San Francisco, Rath Yatra. He's a life and soul, the spirit behind this movement, coming from him, from Krishna. There's another picture of pronounced to Srila Prabhupada. There are unlimited pictures of Prabhupada to enlighten us. And there was Panchatatma, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So this week's the World Holy Name Week, the idea is that we try to chant more, hear about the holy name more, encourage others to chant whatever is japa, kirtan, public, temple, wherever we are. Try to focus on this, as Prabhupada mentioned, the purport to 10:10, whatever, verse 10:9, whatever it was we just read in Bhagavad Gita, that at least in the beginning, while we're progressing, then we may not be so absorbed in discussing Krishna direct in terms of his pastimes, qualities, fame and so on, but at least the name, chanting the name together. This is the primary, for the majority, is the primary activity or devotional practice emphasized for all of us. So Lord Chaitanya came for the masses to distribute that holy name and freely to everyone, and eventually, as we just heard, the process of chanting. Chanting should be with attention. There are numerous statements by Prabhupada how, we won't get much effect if we don't make that effort to chant with attention. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And again. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. These some verses, I say this is, I haven't even read them in this presentation per se, I just picked it out. Shri Chaitanya Mukodgirna, Hare Krishna Tivanakaha, Majayanto Jagat Premi Vijayantam Tadavayaha. All glorious to Hare Krishna Mahamantra that issued forth from the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and is drowning the entire universe in Krishna Prema. Nice invocation verse, Rupa Goswami and Lagu Bhagavatamrita. All glorious to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Chanting the holy names is the chief means of attaining love of Godhead. This chanting or devotional service does not depend on any paraphernalia, nor on one's having taken birth in a good family. By humility and meekness one attracts the attention of Krishna. That is the verdict of all the Vedas. Therefore, if one becomes very humble and meek, he can easily attain the lotus feet of Krishna in this age of Kali. That is the fulfillment of all great sacrifices, penance and austerity, because when one achieves ecstatic love of God, he attains the complete perfection of life. Therefore, whatever one does in executing devotional service must be accompanied by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Same statements made by Srila Prabhupada in several letters. This is Jiva Goswami in the Bhakti Sandarbha. And the famous verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Duhetu avatari lana bhaktagan, apane aswadi prema nama sankirtan. Se dvare achandale kirtan sanchare, nama prema malaganti parila sangsare. Thus, with two intentions, the Lord appeared with his devotees and tasted the nectar of prema with the congregational chanting of the holy name. This is one of our favorite verses, I suppose you could say. With two intentions, the Lord appeared with his devotees and tasted the nectar of prema with the congregational chanting of the holy name. Thus he spread kirtan even among the untouchables. He wove a wreath of the holy name and prema with which he garlanded the entire material world. I was reading this morning from an amazing book which I was reading this morning about how Srila Prabhupada, he was saying he didn't expect anybody whatsoever to take this process up when he arrived in America. He didn't expect anyone. And he was writing, he was surprised, his early letter, he was surprised, he said 2 to 4 persons are starting to take this seriously and beginning to chant. He didn't expect the people in the West would be able to do this. He was astonished. But this is Lord Chaitanya. He wove a wreath of the holy name and prema with which he garlanded the entire material world. He spread it amongst And he was describing them as most untouchables, the people he was preaching to, so fallen. Karatas, Huns, Pulindas, Pulakasas, Ankashas and so on, really fallen. And he was saying some pretty heavy stuff in this letter about what he'd experienced, what people do, type of people he was meeting. They don't feel any guilt about it at all, he said. Any sinful activities is only by the grace of our Guru Maharaj this is possible. This is going on, it's all his mercy. Yeah, to spread Krishna consciousness in this Kali Yuga, in the fallen condition, is just amazing. Some people at least are taking it up. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhu Kai Kailan, E Mahamantra, Iha Japagiya Sabe Kariya Nivanda. Ihaibe Sarvasiddhi Haibe Sabara, Sarvakshana Balaite Virinahiyar. Chaitanya Bhagavat. Lord Chaitanya said, I'm giving you this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Go and chant with sincere enthusiasm. By chanting this mantra, you receive all the perfections of life. So continue to chant incessantly, for there are no rules or regulations for chanting the Mahamantra. Isn't that nice? There are no rules and regulations. What is all this 10 offences business? Just do what you like and chant. No rules, no regulations. What does it mean? Is that what it means? You can eat meat, have illicit sex, gamble, and just chant Hare Krishna. What do you think, Vishnu? Not sure. Don't try it. What does it mean?
It doesn't matter about your birth and what the caste you are.
Yeah, it doesn't make no difference what your birth is. What else?
Which time you chant?
It doesn't make any difference which time. What else? Where you are, make no difference. What else?
What clothes you wear.
Well, that's a good one. What clothes you wear? If it helps you to chant, so be it. Or whether you're clean or unclean, whatever state of, external state you're in, just chant Hare Krishna. But of course, we try to adopt that which is favourable to facilitate, isn't it? It's true. You can chant anywhere, but we don't go out of our way. Therefore, it's like you might be able to chant in a brothel, but you don't kind of purposely go into a brothel to chant. If you're in there, you can chant. You don't kind of make the experiment. But yes, whatever situation we're in, we should try to chant. That's the meaning. At the same time, of course, if we want to advance in Krishna consciousness, then we should try to. The quality in the chanting should be, emphasized. Our hearing the holy name offenselessly. Tattva Krishna Krishna Bhakti Prema Rupa Nama Sankirtana Sabha Ananda Swarupa. Is it colourful on the screen or not?
Yes, it's colourful.
Is it yellow and blue?
Yes.
Okay, sometimes it comes out different colours, when you do projections. The absolute truth is Sri Krishna. Loving devotion to Sri Krishna is exhibited in pure love, is achieved through congregational chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all bliss. Pretty nice verse. Early verse of CC. Is exhibited in pure love, is achieved through congregational chanting. This is the method. This is the method given by Lord Chaitanya. Other things that will support this. Temples, even Prabhupada, because he emphasizes all the various activities, but Bhaktisiddhanta says that they're actually meant to help us to increase our attraction to congregational chanting. That's the effect of daily worship and all the other services we're rendered. They all have their value in it themselves and can attain perfection, but In general, they're to help us to achieve an attraction for congregational chanting of the holy name. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rath Yatra Festival, dancing, King Prataparudra's there. Yuga Dhamma Pravataimu Nama Sankirtan Charibhava Bhakti Diya Nachama Bhuvan. I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nam Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. Through this dancing and chanting, one can read the four mellows of the rendering service, of friendship, parenthood, and conjugal love. Kali kalas kusarpasya tikshnadam strashyamabayam Govinda namadanena dagdo yasyati basmatam. I see that Kali Yuga is like a black poisonous snake with a gaping mouth and fangs. But please be unperturbed, dear devotees, and listen with faith. Once the holy name of the Lord is being chanted, it is like igniting a forest fire, which will burn to ashes the poisonous snakes within the forest. And a Skanda Purana. Incessant, another one from Skanda Purana. Incessant kirtan of names of Sri Vishnu is the only means to conquer the six senses and stop the cycle of birth and death in material existence. Harinam is the root of all spiritual knowledge and the destroyer of the six enemies of the mind: lust, anger, greed, bewilderment, intoxication, and envy. Chaitanya Bhagavat. In this incarnation as a devotee, you will invest all your transcendental energies in the performance of kirtan. The whole world will be filled with the sound of Sankirtan, and the pure devotional service will be preached from house to house. How can we describe the happiness that this earth planet will enjoy when you dance along with your servants? The mere presence of those who constantly meditate on your lotus feet vanquishes all inauspiciousness. As such persons dance, the touch of their lotus feet destroys all the inauspiciousness of the world. By their glance the 10 directions are purified. Such are your glories, such is the dancing, and such are your servants, that when they dance with their arms raised, the disturbances in the heavenly planets are destroyed. Interesting verse. It's also found in Hari Bhakti Sudadaya scripture. Prayers of the demigods, headed by Brahma, I guess. Must be mentioned there in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. One of their prayers. We will finish on this, and then we'll carry on Sunday morning if we're still here. The Krishna consciousness movement has started performing Sankirtan Yajna in different places, and it has been experienced that wherever Sankirtan Yajna is performed, many thousands of people gather and take part in it. We don't necessarily see that so much now. Sometimes we get quite a few people, but not usually so many. It was a fact, and still a fact in some places, particularly in some parts of India, maybe some other countries in the third world. Generally speaking, I guess people are kind of a little less curious, they're a little less open. Mine's not so open, maybe. Or maybe they've just seen it so many times it doesn't mean much to them anymore. But in the early 70s, then, when the devotees would chant, you usually get a big group of people gather around. In London, other places, sometimes hundreds of people would gather around just looking. They were completely, mesmerized, confused, or whatever it is. And just, what is this? What is going on here? What is this all about? Who are these people? It was a big novelty, you could say. The members of the Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada then goes on to say, should perform Sankirtan Yajnas one after another, so much that all the people of the world would either jokingly or seriously chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama. And thus they would derive the benefit of cleansing the heart. The holy name of the Lord is so powerful that whether it is chanted jokingly or seriously, the effect of vibrating this transcendental sound will be equally distributed. This is a purport to the fourth canto of the discussion. King Prashinibharishat was performing all kinds of karmakandya yagyas, going a bit overboard with these in this case, but meant for the welfare of others, and we see this case of Preacher Maharaj also was doing to benefit others. Ambarish Maharaj was doing the same thing, performing yagyas even in the deserts and so on, to bring about auspiciousness, to try to help uplift the consciousness of people. So these type of fire yagyas which they were performing are not recommended in this age, at least not effectively, for the effectivity is very much reduced in this age. So that the yajna, the sacrifice recommended is yajna sankirtanam prayer, the sankirtan yajna. That's what Prabhupada is emphasizing in his purport, that we should perform this sankirtan yajna just like King Prashinibharishat or Ambarish Maharaj or Peter Maharaj, whoever different devotees do, perform these yajnas for the welfare of others, the pleasure of Krishna. We should do the same in this day and age when it's not practical to perform those traditional Vedic yajnas in this age. We do a little bit for certain ceremonies, like tomorrow, the Vivaha yajna, tomorrow there will be a fire yajna, or initiations and other events. But in general, this is not the process of yajna for this age of Kali, it's a Sankirtan yajna. But that should be continually performed. Prabhupada said that here in Mayapur, that devotees should perform kirtan here every day as long as they can. Didn't say those words, but that's what he was inferring. We should perform Sankirtan here in Mayapur every day, kirtan. We should do. We can always do more. So this week, World Holy Name Week, we started a day late. I suppose you could say yesterday was 2 hours. Oh my goodness, that was a long time. 2 hours and 10 minutes to be exact. Or no, 2 hours and 15. We started 5 minutes early and finished 10 minutes late. 2 hours, 15 minutes of kirtan. Anyway, we can always do more. So if we're up to it, we'll try to do some more kirtan today. And tomorrow, let's see, more chance for more kirtan. As much kirtan as we can to bring auspiciousness to the world, to please Krishna, to purify our hearts, to develop that taste, higher taste, so we lose the lower tastes, develop an attraction to hear and chant about Krishna, and so on and so forth. Feel that satisfaction and that highest pleasure that we're always hankering after. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
We might carry on Sunday with this little presentation on Hare Krishna. I think it's market day in Lucé Lamal today, is that right? Friday, market day in Lucé today. So we're going to have a Maha Harinam in Lucé Lamal today. And if we can get everybody out, can a whole party come with us? They can, I'm sure they've come for tourists, but I'm sure that Lucé Lamal will be first on the tourist list of local attractions to see. There must be at least 2 people out there on the street.
One stall.
One stall, one person.
In 10 square meters.
But it is market day. Anyway, maybe we won't get out on the street today, but at least we can do here in the temple as much kirtan. If you're free, you haven't got other service to do, don't waste your time. Mr. Jan Prabhu, you can come in the temple here and do kirtan, okay?
Maybe. I mean, yes.
He's packing his bags. I went up to see it this morning. He's getting ready to go. He's going to Paris.
Yeah, Sunday.
Deserting us for rather Paris-ish one. not leaving today. Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday. Tomorrow still here, and then go.
Well, do more kirtan before you go, okay? World Holy Name Week.
Emerge.
More japa, more kirtan. Hare Krishna. Well, it's overtime. I've got an excuse. It was upside down, I couldn't read it. Hare Krishna. So I think most of your guests have already... Are you for the wedding?
Yes, for the wedding.
For the wedding, welcome.
Thank you.
ISKCON's
Cousin?
cousin and wife.
Hare Krishna. Where do you live?
Birmingham.
Also Birmingham.
Also. Strong
Is your
accent.
brother coming from London?
A brother from London.
Have you got a brother in London?
Not biological brother.
No.
Yeah.
Where's what's his name? Not brother. Not your brother. He's a brother of what's his name in Wellington.
Oh yeah, he's coming.
He's coming.
Coming tonight. Jaganivas.
Janananda.
Jaganivas.
He's coming
tonight.
Is there a whole group coming tonight?
Yeah, maybe 8.
Kind of by car or train, plane?
Train.
Train. Hare Krishna.
In
Yeah.
Japan. I think Jita Pran's planning to drive down tonight.
With them?
Ananda Zaru, Napanda anytime.
Another group coming down.
It's
Yeah.
Paris Temple.
Yeah, temple groups coming
Yeah.
down. Dynata is coming. Yeah, big event. You come all the way from New Zealand. It's a long way to come. On the opposite side of the world, if you put a straight through the Earth planet, you come out quite close to New Zealand. You know that, don't you? If you believe the Earth's round. Do you believe it's round? It is round. If it's flat, then I don't know where you come out if you put it.
Independent from the countries.
I wonder where it goes, what's underneath if you put it straight through. Where do you end up, I wonder? Whatever it is, it is. It is what it is. What difference does it make? It's probably, I think Prabhupada said, it looks flat to me, or somebody said that. It looks flat to me. It doesn't really matter. Let's get on with it. But we usually understand it's round. So if that's the case, and you put directly through the centre of the earth, if it comes out the other end, you'll be out there somewhere not far off the New Zealand coast from here. You know? Not too far off. Not too far off the South New Zealand coast. No, just straight through the centre of the earth. Boom. That's the quickest way to get to New Zealand. It's quicker if you go straight through the centre of the earth, you're not so far.
Maharaj, there's a photograph I saw in New Zealand. It's a picture of a ship, and the ship is going over like a waterfall.
Oh, the edge of the world.
And the inscription at the bottom says, "I told you so."
Ah, there you go. So I told
So
you.
it's a bit subtle.
Yeah, be careful. Whether it's round or whether it's flat, everyone's going over the edge. You're falling over the edge. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Janananda Goswami Maharaj ki
Namaskar Prabhu. Some donations for the Goswami.
Dakshin.
Welcome, did you announce it this morning? A new devotee arrived yesterday. Did you announce it? Tell everybody. Yesterday, Namacharya and Baladev Prabhu went to the same farm where we got the little original tea bowls, and they brought back one more bowl. Right.
And his name is Kripa. Kripa 2. Kripa the second. Kripa the second. He's a beautiful old boy. First thing I did when I got here, after here, I went to see him. He's very nice. I hope they get along well together. They seem to be fairly okay.
Yeah, they're already friendly.
So far they seem to be pretty good with each other. Nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare